very good evening to you. Welcome to the Elevate Show. An amazing show set up just to create a safe space for you, to have those conversations that are not normalized, a safe space for you to fungua roho, a safe space for you to get tools that you can use to elevate your life. And kama kawaida, every Wednesday, I am not here alone because the man of the hour, every Wednesday, we are here because he brings amazing insights into our lives and the way that we lead them. Let's give a round of applause for Benjamin Zulu.
Glad to be here, glad to be here.
Yeah, it's really a good time every time we meet up.
True.
To have these conversations.
Yeah.
And today's is a bit heavy. I don't know how your week has been. Has it been good? Has it been good?
Been anticipating this. Because even before you introduce, let's just remember that men too have feelings. It's been made to look like men are the aggressors.
Yeah.
They are the ones on the offensive every time.
Yes.
And for once, you're bringing this conversation to say that a gentleman can be manipulated against his gentleness.
Yeah.
And be victimized because it's not in his nature to beat up a woman, to be aggressive against her. Most gentlemen can't beat a woman.
Yeah.
And women have specialized how to poke him. Come on, man, gusa. If you're a man, do it. If you call yourself a man. So they poke, and they push you to the wall. So a lot of time, and they're looking for you to just do something. So they can fall down and say, he broke all my bones. I can't even stand. So I think this is the first time we are giving men the permission to say they were victimized or turned against, and society has nowhere. You have a lot of, even there's a university for women, there's banking for women, soccer for women, everything for women, nothing for men. Kamangundimu, one guy tried to form something for men some time back, a late guy. Yeah. But just to say that I'm happy now, finally we are saying a good guy can be turned his goodness against him by manipulative system, and women who have learned to make it look like he's always the aggressor. Nobody picks what she did to push him to the wall. But the only time, the time when he did something, when he lifted the hand or when he did something, that's when they time. Other time they spot you that you have a future, they set traps for you. Once they catch you, they call you the devil. So I think for once, let's also give men the microphone. Let's give him the spotlight to say what happened to him when he was well-meaning and when he was innocent. A man can be the victim. Women can be the aggressor.
Absolutely. Let's give him a round of applause. And I'd like to take this opportunity to also celebrate all the men that are here today.
Yay!
Yes. Because you showed up to have this conversation. Because like you said, most of the times as women, tunakuanga hapo to be rally, we support each other. Tunakuanga hapo tumeshikilia kabisa. But it's also really, really nice to see that we have men in the audience today. Today we're talking about domestic femicide, and it's become such a lethal reality for many women across the world, and specifically our country, Kenya. Now, according to the Daily Nation, in the first 21 days of this year, 2025, we'd already lost 15 women. In the first 21 days of this year, 15 women had been murdered, and these acts were performed by jilted lovers, sometimes even spouses. And we even had women go onto the streets, over 10,000 women, demonstrating, talking about creating awareness around domestic femicide. And that is what we're here to talk about today. And even the president alisikiza, because kuna task force iliyowekwa pamoja by our president, a 42-member task force to address gender-based violence. And we'll be talking more about this and other pertinent issues around this conversation. But before we even begin, I'll call out or probably have our guests come on to talk about their experiences. I'd like to acknowledge the presence today of a group of people from the Gender Violence Recovery Center. And I'd like to just have John Shege, who's the Program Development and Fundraising Lead, just say hi and tell us why you're here today and what you're looking forward to have. We have a microphone, please. You can just pass it around to John.
Thank you so much, Mikali, for the opportunity. My name is John Chege from Gender Violence Recovery Center, and of course with the beautiful people that support us. Please clap for yourself. Thank you. We are here today because femicide has now become an issue that we must address. and every day it's getting worse. So we are hoping to use this opportunity to be able to raise the voice and also just provide the platform and ensure that somebody listens, because whatever is happening is not something that as a nation we should be quiet about. At GVRC we see a lot of cases, especially gender-based violence related cases, but the severity is increasing and we are losing people, and we are saying one life lost is one too more.
Many.
Yeah, it's now the time that we need to stop this. And during the conversation, of course, it goes down without saying that we have Joanne in the house. Clap for Joanne. Joanne Salomia Wati. Joanne will be providing, Joanne is a psychologist, and we are here for anyone. If you have any issue or you feel like you need to speak to somebody, or if the discussion triggers something in you, just know that we are in safe hands. Thank you, and we look forward to an amazing discussion. Amaniaje?
Asante sana, John. Thank you so much. When I was talking to John earlier, he was telling me that the word domestic to femicide is a word that is sort of like fresh, not really, really fresh, but sometimes things don't look like that. And when I look back at growing up, there was a lot of that happening. Did it have a title? Did it have a name? Ilikuwa tu vitu zinafanyika, mnanyamaza, zinafunikiwa. Mnasonga.
And just to put what we had said previously to the context, that this show generally gives men a platform where they can be heard. But today's topic is not about men. I think it's good we announce that Femi is female. How women are being victimized to death just in the hands of people they know. In the hands of people they're in relationship with. What you're asking, what was happening before? Thank you for bringing that up. You need to know this is the 1st century. Women have been allowed to have their humanity. This is the 1st century. Women have been allowed to participate in the market, particularly in Africa. In the West, the battle was won earlier. Independence arrived there a long time ago. But here, the cultures were suppressing women. This battle you're seeing today, where women are being victimized, it's like a backlash of victims that is kept. And people who are used to women having no presence, no identity, no name, they are running after them now to retaliate. When Pharaoh heard that Israelites had left, he said, what have we done? Let's run after them. I think this is a run after, and I'm not saying all men after victimized. I'm saying there's a group of society that does not want women to have presence. That is not today. Even in the Jewish old days, they found two people having illicit sex. They released the man, arrested the woman, took him to just say, we are supposed to kill her. So not today. What do you say? Who was she having sex with? Was it a lesbian act? I mean, where's the other guy? It's been historically women being suppressed. So what you're seeing today, I'm saying it's very bad, but believe you or me, this is the first time it's being discussed. Those deities to be held and they are buried like donkeys, they will be reduced to nothing. So I'm glad that finally we are fighting back and saying this should not be coming back. This is an anger to those who are used to objectifying women, reducing them to objects for masturbation, to use them for sex. They would pin down a 12-year-old girl, amputate her sexual parts, then marry her off to a man old enough to be her father, then make her a sex object and a generator for babies and a beast of burden. When women now finally can go to the markets of determine, say, I may or may not marry. Mikali says, I'll marry when I want. You remember the book? Women too. I'll marry when I want. So because women can say that, some people are angry when she can have a voice. So I think in terms of generation, this has been going on since times immemorial. It's now that we are getting to say they were allowed to be human. God created them male and female, not subject and master, not slave and master. We are humans first of all. Let's just put this out there, that woman's femaleness, Mwikali's difference for me is only physical and functional. On a deeper level, we are just human beings. On a deeper level, we are just humans. Nobody is lesser for having physicality that is female. Our souls have no gender. Our spirits have no gender. Our minds have no gender. We are human. Somebody got it wrong. Somebody got it wrong, thinking that a woman should be subdued because that's what they mistake for submission. So they're trying to crush her to subdue, just to say this is a mistake of perception. Let's speak against it with all the voices. We have daughters, don't we?
Yes,
we have mothers, don't we?
Yes, we do.
I just want you to imagine the people we are discussing today are your children. I just want you to discuss they are your sisters, your mothers. You will see how human They are. And let's stop just saying, oh, they were in a relationship, or she took herself. No, nobody deserves to be killed in the name of relationships that are voluntary. If you don't like me, just leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm looking for something that I saw on a website called Equal Measures 2030. And it goes to say that the sentiments of a certain senator, Tabitha Mutinda, I don't know if anybody came across that she, the controversial suggestion, so let me just read verbatim so that it's what they said. Many activists argue that it is insufficient in a society where blame is often placed on the victim themselves. This sentiment was evident in Senator Tabitha Mutinda's controversial suggestion that the murders of young women are as a result of their own financial aspiration, leading them into dangerous relationships. Thus, these attitudes reveal the uphill battle Kenyan women face in demanding justice and systemic reform. So, over and above where it's coming from, Zulu, there's also an issue with the systems that are being put in place. That our leaders, when you go to a police station, when you go to a police station to say this, if you're a man, it's different. If you're a woman, the questions that are then placed on you or asked to you, what were you wearing? Where were you? What were you doing at that time?
They even tell women we don't interfere in domestic quarrels.
That's true.
A woman can say, I was being held a knife, I was nearly killed. Let's remember, those who are killed cannot come back to fight.
No.
We are talking about those who know they're in danger, their lives are in danger. But the person is powerful, the person is connected, the person is political, the person is a business person. And the police say, you're married. We don't interfere. I don't know when are we going now to finally visit justice on those police officers who turned back. A lady who came saying, my life is in danger.
Yeah.
And they say, you're married. Oh, go sort those kinyumbani. You know?
Yes.
I think, Mikali, let's lift that so that abusers don't think they can get free just because they have money.
Absolutely.
Abusers don't think that because they have money they can bribe, or because the system is ruled by men. I think it should get to a point where we develop a human heart and say, when it comes to this thing will come next to your doorstep.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope karma is really following up. Those who let people's daughters stand back with wounds, with fear, when they're bleeding, when it's night, when they have nowhere to go, you tell them, go back. That man is too powerful. I don't want to interfere. That man is a police officer. He's a politician. I hope they get to feel it on a personal level.
Yeah.
And we are not saying people get killed, but just saying if they get to see it on a personal level, what do you feel when you see a casket? Somebody was not supposed to die.
Yeah.
Being buried, potential being cast off. And I hope you know, Mikali, the most painful thing to a parent in this world is to witness a young life being buried. Even if you pass where they sell caskets, those caskets of small people look wrong, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just look wrong.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
this is not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know the most frequent victims of what we're discussing today is young women? It's not even people in their... It's younger women. Because they don't know the world enough, you take advantage of their naivety just because you can manipulate them, because they're somewhere in college, or because they're in need of money. Just because I need money and you agreed we have this, you give me this and the other. That is not a reason to hurt me. So let's stop justifying human predators who are ending innocent lives. I hope the government, and I'm so happy my people have come here to reinforce this message, and President has taken action, that we should round up. I think we should even bring back public
participation
and public hanging. Honestly, I am for the opinion, let's bring an executioner to hang those who kill innocent women.
Yeah.
Stop sending them to prison for 20 years. They're still alive. They're still enjoying life and eating cabbage. Can we at least show publicly that we do not tolerate innocent killing?
Yeah.
These are innocent people. Oh, Michael, you don't want to think about it. When you started your child from pregnancy, they were born. You grew with them. You raised them. You have dreams. Then you send them to college. They go to life. Then you hear somebody met them and even dismembered them. Do you know what they're doing?
Yeah.
They're cutting people into pieces.
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Do you know wrath can come on us as a country if we don't raise our voices?
Absolutely.
I'm so happy people went out in thousands.
Yeah.
And I hope all the shows can have a moment of silence for those young women, those women who were innocently trying to look for life, and somebody came to end their life and even go ahead. Imagine somebody had married another, and then he cut the woman into pieces and carried her in a boot. Is that a normal man?
No.
why is that person even being put with other prisoners? They can kill again.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's reach a point where somebody was suggesting, when you get those people, let's castrate them. This is not sexual abuse anymore.
Yeah.
This is killing.
This is killing.
When one woman is safe, no woman is safe. When one woman is not safe, no woman is safe.
Absolutely. You can go ahead. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I think on that note, we have two guests who are coming to share their stories with us. And our very first one is a student, a final year student, engineering student. Hey, wacha nikuambie. Iyo imetoka na nini? Mudokoi. Our very first guest is a final year engineering student at the Technical University of Kenya. She's a Pan-Africanist, girls and women rights activist from Isiolo County. Let's give a round of applause to Habiba Abdi.
Duka la Loto Moto was star 570 hash because shamba wap 1.7 million Kenya shilling na addition ya 1 million Kenya shilling. Na magari haya cheza sasa hivi ikiwa ni star 570 hash option 2, 3 na 4 au ingia kwenye www.tushinde.com, register, deposit na ucheze. Hiko yako hapa, cheza sasa hivi.
Acne-prone skin, soap is not enough. Try Pure Active, the #1 anti-pimple cleanser with salicylic acid and charcoal, proven to reduce pimple-causing germs by up to 99.5%. 3 actions: wash, scrub, mask. For pure and clear skin, Garnier Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal by Garnier, naturally.
Over a marathon 38-game season, sustaining a high level of performance is easier said than done. In Barcelona's case, they began their La Liga campaign in scintillating fashion, flying out of the blocks with an impressive run of wins. But a mid-season form slump has derailed the early runaway leaders, who now find themselves playing catch-up.
I'm totally supported. And I'm
Kila safari huanza na ndoto. As we celebrate 40 years, our promise is to be with you for life. Tufanikishe zaidi.
Na raundi hii January tuna survive na maringos, manjoti, mabike, mapopcorns. Odibets app, very nice. Very nice.
Skuma January na Odibets. Wekelea kwa Odibets app upate za kupiga January. Odibets, very nice.
Hustle is survival.
When a loved one's lost.
Catch these exciting shows only on Maisha Magic Plus on DSTV channel 163 and GoTV channel 3.
Habiba, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's lovely, lovely, lovely to have you. For being a champion and a very courageous one at that.
Thank you so much.
Kindly introduce yourself to the people. Let us know what it is that you do. I know I said a bit of it, but there's so much to you than what I said.
There is. Thank you so much, Mikali. I am Habiba Abdi. I am a final year engineering student at the Technical University of Kenya. I am a green belt holder of Taekwondo.
Ah, all right.
What's your wife?
black and gold one.
Yeah, and I'm also ambidextrous, meaning I can use both of my hands. And I am a girls' and women's rights activist, a feminist, a radical at that. And I am a GBV survivor.
Okay, and welcome to the show. Umesema hapa mikono yote mbili. That means even in the fighting, you're very good.
Yeah.
If you think it's coming from the left, it's probably coming from the right. Maybe you can give us a bit of your background as well, to just know where you've come from, you know, you're growing up. How was that for you as well?
Growing up, I am a girl that comes from, born and raised in marginalized Kenya, that is northeastern Kenya, and I have fought so hard to get into a classroom, to escape FGM, to be, thank you, to be a woman of substance that I am today, to be the first woman from where I come from to go to university, to be the first woman to ever vie for any political seat in an institution that is dominantly men. So I have a record of many firsts, including being here on this show today to talk about my experience that I have kept away from the world. So for me, this is a full circle moment for me to do another first in the records, because I know the more we speak up, the more we speak out, the more we come out, the more we create awareness and make sure that there are no other survivors who cannot speak up, or we can end the oppression in those places.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. So let's give her another round of applause. Habiba, what's your story? What's the experience?
Being a GBV survivor, for me, for the longest time, as I've said, I have used denial to cope with it all through the years. I'm a childhood sexual abuse survivor.
And was it someone that you knew?
No, I did not know him. Actually, the reason, something that gives me a lot of courage to speak up about this today is because it's usually kept under wraps, and it's almost shameful to talk about it, but I'm going to say it today because I experienced this violence at the hands of a man in a place where you would not expect it, in a mosque. Yes.
Okay, okay.
So
you had gone for prayers?
Yeah, we have this thing called madrasa, where parents, it's like a Sunday school.
Yes.
So at the end of the week, you go there, you learn about Islam, and then you go home. So I did not have a good speech, so my mom thought it was a good idea to send me there and interact with other children to develop my speech. And I don't know how it was mapped out for that thing, but the guy used to come to the class, pick me out, and go and do that, and then if it's not processed, it stays in your body. So I started getting sick, and when I went to hospital, they're testing everything, and they're like, Habib, you're okay, there's nothing we can see from your system. And one doctor told me, maybe you should try seeing a mental health professional to see whether some of those issues are coming from that. So when I did, the first time I could not speak, because Kenyatta is a resource. They have free mental health services for survivors of GBV. And the first day I walked in there, I could not speak. I was just overcome with a lot of emotions. I cried so hard because that was the first time in almost 15 years trying to speak about something that in my head I had not even registered if it is something that happened, like the confusion, the turmoil, everything. And I was just on that hospital floor crying my eyes out. And the doctor came and told me, Habib, just relax. We will take you in when you feel comfortable. And they were so supportive about it, and they did not press anything. They gave me the support I needed, and they asked me if I would like to come another day. And I was like, sure, I'll come another day when I feel I can. The more I continue to expose myself to the experience of trying to let it out, the better the easier it's going to become as time goes by. So it wasn't easy. I tried to stick by it, and eventually it came out. And I also recently came out to my mom. She didn't know it happened all those years.
Who found out?
There was apparently somebody related to the person who was doing that to us, and then years later, this guy came, the next guy, the person related to the rapist. So he came to look for football coach. And I think it's because the one got away, so he found an avenue of abusing children. So he would abuse the children from the soccer team, and he was the one that was found. The other one, I don't know where he went. Yeah, he was beaten up, taken to jail for 1 week, and then he was released.
1 week?
Just 1 week. 1 week, and then he was released. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because these people are being hidden amongst us. They are being protected amongst us. These things, when we say these things happen in churches, in mosques, especially from people of my community, and I have to call that out because we want to say, oh, you know, don't disgrace the community, don't do No, I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to talk about it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So when you came out to Mom, and you've gotten this courage to go back home and be like, Mom, this happened to me. I experienced this. I'm going through healing, and it's no longer about dream, Mom. It's a reality. How did she take it?
Of course, she went into shock. First, it was like, I think the first thing, like she went inside and she was like, why did I fail as a mother and all that? And I was like, no, Mom, because I already understand where my mom is coming from. My mother gave birth to me. She was prepubescent. She was 11 years old when she gave birth to me. So growing up with, you know, and having to give birth as a child, having to give birth to more children as a child, I mean, I could understand the weight that is on her shoulders, the trauma that she carries and all that. But she's also in the process of healing. And yeah, I think initially she was beating herself up a lot, and she thought maybe she could have protected me better and all that, but we're still working through it together. I suggested that we could go to counseling together so we can, you know, work that out. I'm just reassuring her that regardless of the circumstance, I have survived. She is a survivor. And regardless, like, we're such strong women that we've come out here today.
Absolutely. I love that you're here today, and I'm going to open up the floor to if you have any questions as well. But first, Zulu, your sentiments on this particular...
I think Habiba is a demonstration, finally, that we can get over oppressive religious and cultural tenets that tell you to keep to a certain corner and keep quiet. This is not just in Islam. Let me tell you the truth. We know better. We just don't say it, isn't it? We know.
Yes, we do.
Know.
Yes, we do.
We just have don't touches. People are not spoken about.
Yes.
They abuse. And boys are being abused today by male spiritual figures. Even boys.
Yes.
But because it's a taboo topic, it's a sacred cow. You can't say that. Don't ashame the church. Don't ashame the family. Oh, you're going to cause shame. You're going to be seen like an outcast. Habiba, thank you for charting the way forward. She did not say, who will marry me? You know, women are dangled that carrot. You don't like that. Who will marry you?
Yes. Yes.
Can we stop caring, asking daughters who will love you and asking, will you love yourself?
Oh, yes.
Can we finally tell our children to stop asking the world, I wonder how people see me? To start asking ourselves, I wonder how I see them. I wonder how I feel about myself. Those are more important questions. And finally, we can still have our faith, our religion, and still say, I am human. My feelings matter. I have rights. This is wrong. This is not religion. This is abuse. Because mosque was not meant for sexual abuse. Churches are not meant for sexual abuse.
No.
Let's stop hashing it. So just to say this, Mikali, because now we are the incoming parents, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said once you reach that year, stop saying my background. You are the background. You know?
Absolutely.
So let's stop saying our parents, you know? Even if you grew up as an orphan, once you hit age of majority, you can't call yourself an orphan going to the institution. I'm an orphan, give me help. You're a grown up now. You grew up as, maybe you are an orphan, but just to say, because you are the parents now, can we now remove the conspiracy of silence? Can we lift the lid? Can we normalize people coming on TV and talking and saying, it happened to me, I hope it doesn't happen to a girl, I'm here to use my pain to save another from the pain.
Absolutely.
Let us remove the shame. Do not silence a man who says they were molested.
Yes.
It's better when she talks than when she commits suicide.
Yes.
Let's tell our children, I would rather have you divorced and have you dead. I'd rather have you marry late than die early. Can we value our well-being first more than societal image? Oh, my children are married. Oh, my children are doing well marriages. In our home, there's no divorce. Can we say in our home, there's no trauma? We heal. We are happy. We are well. We are healthy. We talk. And she talked about therapy. Guys, did you notice that?
Yes.
Africans, did we hear that?
Yes.
Because we have not that. Habiba, thank you for bringing that one.
Yeah.
It is very hard for me as a psychologist to introduce it without appearing like I'm just looking for customers. You know, thank you for saying you went for therapy. You invited mom to come and heal. You should pity a girl who was giving birth at 11 surely before she even knows the word. Habiba has compassion. Sometimes our parents, they failed us, but they've been failed even they themselves. So thank you for looking mom with compassion and saying, mom did not have everything she needed to protect me, but she was dealt a very bad card. She did all she could with that. But here we are, we can heal from here. Let us heal from here. Let us invite our mothers. Let's invite our dads. Tell them that time has passed, but we are wounded. Can we go and heal? To heal means you talk it out. She said, I sat there, I cried. Oh. Africa, let's normalize crying. Let's just cry it out. And she sat there and a compassionate, empathetic professional told her, you are safe. She came now the other week, maybe. That's when she could say, imagine this happened. And her mind was blocking. Don't say that you're going to be struck by lightning. You'll be cast. You know, this is a taboo. If you say that, you're going to be outcast. Oh, you're going to shame this family. Oh, you'll have to get him. She said, sorry. Can I be well? So let's now normalize. You cry it out. You talk it out. Men, sometimes you don't cry with physical tears. We cry internally. So come and talk. And you can tell a man who's crying because you can see the sadness on the face. I want to just normalize what she did finally. She had to go against many obstacles even to reach here. I hope many more girls, I've worked with many girls from her culture. And they tell me, when you stand from the whole clan, it's like you're singled out. The girl who talked. You know, the girl who talked. And the whole clan is given a name. So she's overcoming a lot of things. Let's normalize this.
I would like to also know, because you're a champion now, you're a leader. You have so many fasts, Habiba. You have so many fasts. And some of the things that you're doing to create this awareness in your community especially, because probably you understand the language better, you understand the culture better. You know the do's and the do nots that you've decided to. I do not care. I will get there and I will do it because I can and I want better for the others. So what are some of the things that you're doing for your society and society at large to help create awareness about this?
Absolutely. I work with a number of organizations. I do mostly volunteer work. I prefer to volunteer. I just want to be in that space to make sure that another girl does not get to experience what I did, to make sure that girls stay in school, to make sure that girls are not touched, to make sure that girls achieve their dreams, their goals, their aspirations, because I have felt what it is like to get to some of these places, and I just want that for every single girl. So I take every opportunity that I can get. I do not care for the money. I do not care for anything. I just want to make sure that is what inspires me every day. When I feel like I'm tired and I can't get up, I just remind myself that there's a girl that needs saving today, and we need to do that.
Looking back at your community, have you been called out? Have you been told wewe
baraza
enda waambie mtoto wa nani tunamwangalia na wache hiyo, you will be an outcast, you will disown you? Have you had?
Oh, absolutely. Especially being a girl who has advanced up to university level. That
by itself is already an issue.
Like it's like, you know, tulikuwa tumepanga mambo yako, you know.
So already you're rebellious in that way.
Just by entering a classroom. That was that. And let me tell you something. I am somebody who considers myself a stereotype breaker, a breaker of social norms. That is what I use as my hashtag on my TikTok pages. And I speak about all the taboo things. And I've had everything across the board. And I'm welcoming all those negative whatever so that we can debunk them.
What is the most ridiculous one that people call you out all the time for?
Oh my goodness.
For speaking up against it?
I can't even begin to tell you, Mikwali, because it's like, some are in person, some are online, and the ones that I've gotten in person, there was this guy who was catcalling a girl, and I was like, weren't you raised better? Like, And the guy ran to mommy and so that he can be protected by mommy. And then mommy came, and I was like, so you have come here with the person who has taught you this terrible manners, terrible behavior. And it's back at home, and you know, talking to elders like that direct is not acceptable. And my mom was calling, and she was like, tunaomba samahani nini. And I was like, Mom, no. In fact, I used the slur word. I used the curse word on them. I told them, we're not going to tolerate this. Mufanye kinye munataka na mimi shauri zenyu. Yeah. Shauri zenyu. And my mom was like, and I was like, no, Mom, the more we continue to keep quiet, the more these people are just going to continue to take advantage of us. Yes. And I have experienced that in person, and online is where, you know, because you think you're such a keyboard warrior, you're behind the screen, you're so coward, you cannot even come and face me, unitafute kule niko, unaniambia biba mimi hivi tu 1 2 3 misielewi kenye unasema nini hizi. You just go there, cowardly write hateful messages. And I'm somebody who proclaims myself as a child-free woman, somebody who would like to remain child-free for the rest of my life. I feel like my childhood was robbed from me, and I would like to extend the rest of my life into just myself and rebuilding whatever I lost.
You are breaking this norms loudly. You're just like, yes, I'm here for it. You come to kill me, disturb. I'm a disturb some more.
I'm on the screens now.
Yeah. Which is okay. I mean, we choose our paths, and I don't think it's upon anyone else to decide that your life should be this way because mine was this way, yours should be this way. We can chart our own paths. We learn, we get better, we know better.
Did you notice she says she wants to remain child-free means soft?
Yeah.
Feminine.
Yes.
Because abuse makes you hardened.
Yeah.
Our guest last week said she had become a gangster.
Yeah.
To fight back.
Yes.
Don't become a gangster. I'm happy that she has boundaries, but she can still laugh.
Yes.
Smell a flower, play with a butterfly.
Yeah.
Sit on a bubble, do some soft massage. I mean, whatever.
Period.
Yeah.
Please don't refuse life because they treated you badly.
Yeah.
Habiba, go on and enjoy.
Yeah.
Smile until they die by seeing you smiling.
Absolutely. I really, really love that. And it's true. It comes off. Yes, I am going to fight. I will be radical, but you've not lost your essence as a woman.
Yeah.
And we have a 42-member task force that has been put together. I mean, out of all the cases that we've seen in this country, out of the women going out on the streets to be like, hey, alafu wanawake wako hapo, wanaume wanachapa na tear gas. You know what I mean? It was really bad. You're getting arrested. You're here to fight for women, and we just have placards. You know, we're just saying, please, to Skize, we need something to be done, and then something was done. Whether it's working or not working is subject to this conversation, okay? We're taking a very, very, very short commercial break. We will be right back. Remember to talk to us, share your sentiments, your questions as well. It's NTV Kenya on Facebook, NTV Kenya on X, formerly Twitter, all right? We will be right back. Don't go too far.
Now get Showmax Premier League Mobile plus 3 gigs of data for only 450 shillings. Just dial *544*37#. Only with Showmax and Safaricom. T's and C's apply.
Mandizi kiva pia sinakuanga ya yellow. I mean.
Na raundi hii January tuna survive na maringos, manjoti, mabai, popcorns. ODBETS app, very nice. Very nice.
Sukuma Januari na ODBets. Wekelea kwa ODBets app upate za kupiga Januari. ODBets, very nice.
Indulge in the moment. With every spoonful, Delamere Real Fruit Yogurt.
When I have back pain, I reach for 2 tablets of Panadol Extra. It's boosted by caffeine for fast relief of strong pain, like headache, toothache, and muscle pain. And I am finally released from pain and ready to be there for those who need me. Try Panadol Extra for fast and effective relief from strong pain.
On the 7th of March, 2025, we embrace the theme of marching forward. Here we stand as symbols of progress.
Together, we march with confidence and grace, showing the world that when women rise, everyone rises.
As the sun dips below the horizon, we transition from the greens to the glamour of the evening. We are inviting you, all the lovely ladies, to please join us at the Muthaiga Golf Club for a very unique experience.
Over a marathon 38-game season, sustaining a high level of performance is easier said than done. In Barcelona's case, they began their La Liga campaign in scintillating fashion, flying out of the blocks with an impressive run of wins. But a mid-season form slump has derailed the early runaway leaders, who now find themselves playing catch-up.
Hustle is survival.
When a loved one's lost.
Catch these exciting shows only on Maisha Magic Plus on DSTV channel 163 and GoTV channel 3.
Welcome back to the Elevate Show. I'm your host, Mikali, alongside Benjamin Zulu. And today on the Elevate Show, we're talking about domestic femicide and the rise of the same. We saw women go to the streets in over 10,000 women went out there to just create awareness, to demonstrate, have the government listen, do something. And indeed, something was done. Whether it's effective or not, we will be discussing that. But President William Ruto established a 42-member task force to address gender-based violence. And the question is, what is the potential for real change with this task force that has been put together? We have audience who will be asking or giving their comments on that. But Habib, I'd like for you to just probably give your 2 cents on this task force. And do you think that it will do the job that it's what you would like to see them do? Do you think they will do it? Are they doing anything since they were put together?
I would say everything that they're doing at the moment is quite performative.
Okay. Performative.
It's performative,
okay.
Just to make sure that we have it on paper and record and stuff like that. Because let me tell you this, Mwikali, femicide as an epidemic is a problem that I think right now we are dealing with, like the late stages effects, but we do not address the root cause. And that is a lot of systematic challenges that are rooted into social, cultural, and political aspects of our society that make women vulnerable to femicide. So what is the government doing with this task force to make sure that they're relieving all these socio-political, cultural, economical challenges that make women vulnerable to femicide? We can see with the case of South Africa, they have so many stringent laws when it comes to femicide, but it has one of the highest rates of GBV in the whole world. So that goes to show you that legal policies and bringing up a task force that, you know, isn't enforcing much is quite literally useless.
Mmesikia? I hope imewafikia. Wale inafaa kufikia. Do you have something to add before we go to the audience?
Yes, I like the way she said, we can be reactive and momentary to appear politically correct. We don't, that was a good first step. We had to start somewhere, isn't it?
Yes.
So we say thank you for that first step, but that is not enough.
Yeah.
She has said the roots that cause that kind of victimization, they go deep to socio-economic, political, cultural biases that normalize victimizing a woman. By the time a woman is killed, 100 others have been abused and silenced. By the time one reaches mortuary, 100 others are in hospital, and they never get recognized, even cameras don't reach to them, and we only become reactive. We go to we hold placards, we are thrown, tear gas, somebody writes an article, and we want to compliment medias like Nation. They've really been putting it forward, and we congratulate them for that. I hope even TikTokers, because nowadays we are also media by ourselves, we focus this more, just to say that was first step. And while the government is taking steps, let's make this, we never relent. We don't stop bringing it forward until there's a wave. Then we talk, then we forget. Let's normalize it ourselves and say, let's bring it up before they are killed. Just because they're being sidelined by policies, it's being made normal for a certain culture to continue abusing girls because it's being called tradition. We should peel that, remove that veil and say what Habiba said. I may have my culture, but I also know the elements of the culture that are being used to oppress the women. Absolutely. So let's call out that instead of saying it's just tradition.
I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it, I like it. And the floor is open. We have Habiba and Zulu who will be answering your questions. We have a question all the way.
My name is Catherine Gadecha. I'm a YouTuber, a TikToker. I'm also a CHP, Community Health Promoter from Roysambu. Na naweza kusema wakati tunajaza, kuna wakati unajaza hapo unasema, huyo kama ni client wako unamhudumia, unamuuliza mambo ya gender violence, hapo chini unajaza, unamuuliza umekuwa ukipigwa, anasema ndio au la. Kama ni mwanaume ama kama ni mwanaume, kama ni mwanamke, unajibu, unataka kujua. Hata kama hata kuambia vizuri, unaweza kumwangalia, labda unaona uvimbe na unaona hiyo ni dondi, hii si ati nini, kuna black eye, hii si ya gari, hii inaonekana uliundwa na nani? Yani vitu kama hizo tunashughulika. Another thing, mimi naweza sema hivi kwa sababu ya ndoa. Ndoa wakati unaenda kumkimbililia mtu mwenye unaona anaweza kukusaidia, and that person tells you, wacha tuombe, ndoa ni ya kupewa heshima, ndoa, wewe unataka kutoka kwa ndoa unaenda wapi? Ndoa Mungu amesema mkiachana, utafanya watu wawili ati wewe ndio kifo. Kifo gani? Already mwenye ukikatwa mikono ndio utakuwa sasa si kifo. Already ni kifo. Ukisha kukatwa mikono, huwezi kutafutia watoto wako, huwezi kufanya kitu chochote. Wewe umekuwa mtu wa kusaidiwa, wewe ni kiwete. Sivyo? Haya, number 2, nikikuja kwa mambo ya sodomizing and raping na vitu kama hizo. Tafadhali, hili na nasema lisikike kwa vizuri. Mzazi yeyote, wacha kushinda ukikimbizana na mtoto ati fulani anko wa sangapi. Ukishasema anko na ni jirani yako na ni rafiki yako na kunyanga kwako kukupembeleza sijui nini, umeshaonyesha huyo mtoto kukuwa anatrust yule mtu kwa ile tu jina kusema anko. Tafadhali hii jina anko tutoe tu na uspecify anko mgani, anko nini. Kama ni baba wa mkate, sema baba wa mkate, wacha kusema anko. Hilo nasema wazi. Tafadhali wazazi, mtanichukia bure. You got me? So, mimi nasikia tu nimebonda. Juu mtu anakuambia hata saa zingine atoa mfungo shule, anakuambia mama, mimi sitaki kuenda ushago. Did you find out kwa nini huyo mtoto hataki kuenda ushago? Ulisema tu mtoto amekuwa kichwa ngumu. What do you mean? Have you investigated to know why this kid doesn't want to go to ushago to see their whoever or relatives au nyumbani? Kumbe hao ndio wanamthulumu. Their uncles, they are there. Sijui what their neighbors. Unashinda ukituma tu. Tafadhali, mtoto sikiza sauti ya mtoto. Mtoto asije kuumia kwa mikono yako. Atakuja kukulaumu wewe, and you were the parent. You did not listen. Be a good parent.
Asante. Do you have any sentiments on that?
The perspective she has brought.
Yeah.
That sometimes we introduce strangers as if they are family.
Yeah.
And you know, you're told this is an uncle, this is a category of your dad of parent figure. You know, uncles, aunties, parent figure. And I did a lot of sessions with clients who tell me it was the auntie who was employed there who would touch them indecently. Sometimes boys are introduced to, when children are abused sexually, an itch is introduced there, and it becomes an itch that gravitates to masturbation, to scratch that.
Yeah.
And pornography, to scratch that.
Yeah.
And they don't recall when it was introduced, but when you ask them to recall back, it was a person who was trusted by parents until they could not go to accuse that person to those parents. So I think what she has said is, let's stop upholding family shame or family communal, too big communal thing at their expense. Back then, people had morals. Today, they don't have morals. So it's time we stop opening our doors to just anybody.
Absolutely. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to comment to her first part of the statement. And as somebody who is breaking a lot of social norms, you find people looking at you like you want to break the institution of a family, you know, you're bad influence to the society and all that. But I have one simple question. What is the role of a family? What is the function of a family if one of its members or any of its members is being oppressed or suppressed, or the family in general is not there for this person? What is the use for that family? Yeah, it should be wholesome, functional to all the members of its family.
What it was created to be. We have another question.
My name is Brenda Luanyi. I'm the founder and executive director at My Body, My Body, which is a women's rights organization. We do advocate for inclusive and comprehensive sexual reproductive health and rights. You mentioned of the task force that our president selected the other day to work on ending femicide in our country. My one call to action, or even one of the saddest things that I felt when I saw the task force, there are no youths there. How many number of young people died of femicide? Half of them, if you look at those people who are below 35 years, and also you know now the generation that is leading our country. If you do something now, Gen Z are there, but they have not been involved. How can you go discuss about things that the affected are not part of it? What are you going to discuss? Yes, they are your children, they are your sons, they are your daughters, but do you have their voices in that task force? If you can review the task force and involve the Gen Z, because if you come kwa ground, mtapata the same rebellion you are getting through the political side, because we are all fighting femicide. It's so sad that we saw a young guy in Isinya, Kajiado. He called the police to come and pick the body of his girlfriend. Come pick it, have placed it here. And he disappeared. What is going on? Our relationships are not working. We are bitter in our relationship. It's all about revenging. I invested in you my time, I invested in you my money, and now you want to leave me? We do not know where to start. We do not know like how to keep relationship, when to call it an end, how to maintain, even like, how can you even meet your ex and you say hi? Our generation now, we are a bitter generation. So think of a way of the social behavior changes that we'll implement in the community and not the show if you are doing that.
Zulu, I'd like to, just before we get to the next question, Zulu, I'd like to rope you in. She said something very interesting about knowing when to leave and how toxic our relationships are now. I will not leave you because I am planning my revenge. Lazima usikie kile mimi nimesikia, you know. And I know you're very passionate about, you know, choosing yourself and having to walk away, that you don't have to sit there and wait. Maybe you can just chime in
It's
on
a
that.
conglomeration of many factors, and thank you for picking that out. And what's your name again, my sister?
Brenda.
Brenda, keep doing what you're doing, because you brought out the anger. We have this anger that you owe me how much I put in you.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't walk away with my investment.
Yes.
Now, this is what you're saying, Brenda. For a guy to be so audacious as to call police and say, I've killed, come find it there, is because he has, at the back of his mind, nothing happens to kill us. That's what gives him boldness. True of us. If we made it clear the government is not compromising, you kill, we kill you. they will be very reluctant to kill. True or false? So even if it comes to you have invested money, I usually tell people this. When you are feeding the cow, you are also milking it. It was a barter trade. You volunteered to invest there, and nobody owes another anything. Let's stop. Nothing justifies a woman to be killed by a guy because you ate my school fees. Nobody, it was not a loan, no contract. You did not go to a court. There's not even an affidavit. This was an exchange. So, listen, this is what we are saying. If you decide to get into a relationship, it's a voluntary thing, nobody forced you. Calculate your things, and if you find that this is not working, you're free to move. I'm on record telling women, he can educate you, and when you graduate, you decide he's not your type. Before you finish university, when you are young, you are needy. A drowning man will clutch at a straw. When I'm hungry, I'll agree to anything for you to feed me. Brother, if you find me dying, tell me, okay, I'll give you food, then you marry me after. Yes, please, I'll marry you. After I eat, so did you... Surely, in-law is called undue influence or duress. You used my situation to coerce me to agree to your selfish needs. When the situation goes away, I can now reevaluate. No woman should exchange school fees for marriage. That's a lifelong thing for a temporary thing. School fees can wait. Brothers, I encourage you this. It's okay to educate, but when you're educating, kamua ng'ombe ujishike maziwa. Kama wewe umekubali kukunywa maziwa, tosheka na murusik. Asante.
We have another question.
My name is Leila Abdallah. I am a Pan-African feminist. I work and deal with girls and women, and I advocate for Saracha rights. I'd also like to she inspired me. Habiba really inspired me. She has spoken truth to power. So many girls and women cannot come up here and talk their truth, and today you have done so much, and I'm grateful. I would also like to talk about the 42 task force that was put together the femicide law or policies in this country. You can put laws and policies, but what about implementation? Right now, even the 2/3 gender rule has not been applied into parliament. So you're talking about 42 task force that consists mainly of women. But why the men? They form the majority of the parliament. They should be in that discussion as well, because you realize that domestic femicide, the perpetrators are men. So they should be there advising. They should be there taking up action and responsibility that we need to address as a community, as a society, because women's rights is human rights. It's not separate. You cannot separate women's rights and human rights. It's the same thing. So when we're speaking about femicide, it's not about a woman's thing. It's a societal thing that needs to be addressed by every person. And then something else that really comes out when you're talking about femicide, we are looking at the root cause. We're looking at gender-based violence. Because when you're looking at gender-based violence and we want to address it from a structural structural view, we are looking at the security system. We are looking at the health sector. Are they there to support women's needs? Because as one of the panelists said, you're looking at there's no confidentiality when you go to the police station and report. They want to say that this is your marriage, this is a you issue, this is not something that affects us, but it does. So even somebody coming to seek help, you want to turn them away. Will they really come for that help? Will there be any change in the community? So we need to really address this from the systemic issues that really happen in our society. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We need to stop this notion that women should be punished for disobeying men.
Oh, yes.
We need to put an end to that notion that a woman is a man's subject. Let's come to agreement that the Bible told wives to obey husband, not women to obey men.
Oh, yes.
The wife submits to husband inside a marriage covenant. Outside a marriage covenant, my friend, we are just in the market like competitors. We are colleagues. I can't ask Mikel to submit to me as who? Habiba, submit. To who?
Yeah.
You know, in another verse of the Bible, because they usually quote it one way to abuse you religiously.
Yes.
Let's talk about religious abuse one day, okay?
Okay.
When they use the holy book to reduce you, and 2 girls in hijab have talked. Have you noticed today? Ah, thank you, girls. They have allowed these girls to talk. Okay, which point was I driving?
The good Good book. The other verse.
I was saying the other verse says, submit one to another. Not the wife just to submit to the husband. The next down there says, submit one to another. There's a way I should also submit to my wife's leadership in the areas that she's better. I was just using that to say, let's reach a point where it's not the woman being put on, man being put on top of the woman. We are humans doing life. Absolutely. We may agree or disagree, but there's no room for disrespect and abuse. You don't have any authority to take a knife and cut my daughter just because you married her. Yeah. That's my daughter, man. You don't say because she's your wife, you cut her and put her on a boot, man. That's not... By the way, Mwikali.
Yes.
By the way, Mwikali.
Yes.
One of these fathers needs to be let loose with those people who kill the daughters. Yeah. I don't know why they constrain them so much. You see the man trying, give me this man for 2 minutes. He killed my child. Yeah. Next time you think you have been annoyed by a woman, remember this is somebody's daughter.
Yes.
One guy did something I want to do with my children. At the wedding of his daughters, he would tell the guy who is marrying the daughter, say, I've shown you my home. This is my home. I understand you're grown-ups and you may disagree. Yeah. Should you disagree and you are angry and you are feeling or don't do anything to my daughter, return her to me. Yeah. I promise no retaliation, nothing. Just return my daughter alive. I want her alive more than I want her married. Yeah. Let's encourage our daughters to come home rather than be killed. Thank you.
Please. I have a feeling that we'll not be able to capture all of this in one show. And because it wasn't just Habiba who was sharing her story today, we have Gilbert as well. So if you allow us, we will just extend this for a bit and have like a part 2. But before we get to the part 2, we have one last question before we come to the end of the show, please.
Thank you. My first question goes to my brother. Yes, Benjamin Wright. And our sister, she has tried to speak the truth. Truth is very painful. And one man said, release the truth. It's like a weapon. Truth will defend for itself. To our girls, as a motivational speaker and a public figure to this nation, how can you advise them? Because most of the time, they trust us. When they see us in a good suit, when we speak nice words to them, they trust us most. I can give a very good example. When I was coming in the morning, I told one of the parents that there's a show somewhere. Can I go with your daughter? And then I called that parent 5 a.m. in the morning. And she said, yes, go with her. She's here. You see? Wow. Why? Because our parent, Ananiona in the church, and the lady is a Muslim. You see? So if anything wrong happens to her, nani atakuwa makosa? Ni mama aliyekumbali nikuja na yeye, ama ni msichana aliyekumbali nikuja na yeye? So the ball is on your side.
What's your name, my brother?
I'm Peter Munyao. So to our sister, which ways and which mechanism that the government can include in this task force to ensure that our girls are well informed about what is happening in our generation? Thank you.
Yeah, so begin with that question, then I give her. That question you asked what girls can do. If then we are being abused in the very places we went for healing, isn't it? Previously, we went for counseling in churches and mosques. It's the people who counseled us. Actually, counselors are a new phenomenon. We went for counseling. Actually, many pastors have a day for counseling. These Peter people, they have a day for counseling. And after church, office yakona line kubwa. Pastor Nikona Ishida, this one happened, you know? And he's asking, and I like your sincerity, man. You are one of the few guys who are real. And congratulations that you have a character. A woman who does not come from a religion, can you put her daughter? This is a very special trust, man. So the question you asked, who will have failed if this girl harm? It's you. This woman trusted your character. You look trustworthy. This is what I advise our daughters and young ones and vulnerable ones to do. Please stop putting churches or mosques, your religious guidance, as a mediator between you and God.
Yeah.
Stop putting people to be the ones who are your spokesperson to God, because they can command you. God says come to church. You find him alone there.
Yeah.
He does what he wants to do. God says be my wife. You know, God says this and that.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way, Peter, when I realized there's such a thing as over-obedience. I want you to have self-drive even in your spiritual life, so that you have a personal spiritual life with your God, and then you can attend. Church has its place, groupings have their place, but you don't let a person become the middle person between you and God that you cannot tell when they are diverting. Humans can have conflict of interest. Nowadays, morals have disappeared. Nowadays, people have diluted themselves so much. There's even a scripture in Isaiah that says that the shepherds have started sharing the sheep, feeding on the flock, they themselves, just to say that, Peter, the only solution we have in this generation, and thank you for representing them, please have a personal initiative in all areas of your life, including spiritual, so that even when you do what Bereans did, when Paul is preaching, and Paul was a very authoritative person, he wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, but while he was preaching, the Bereans were comparing what he's saying versus scripture. Have your own scriptural life, have your own spiritual life, so that when people tell you things, you can measure them, whether they make sense, so that they don't ask you to undress, and they're telling you it's God who asks you to undress. I examine your body. I saw the people, they are lying down for the preacher to step on them. Is that scriptural? Have your own means of comparison.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. As we wind up, maybe you can just answer his question, then we'll come to the end of the show.
Yeah, sure. Speaking to what Benjamin has already said, just to add context to that, is I like the fact that he has pointed out that the man in the situation is the one who has the responsibility. You took advantage of the situation, knowing, your aura and everything, and you were trusted with that. And with trust comes responsibility. And that is where I'm going to come now into the role of men in this whole movement. As Leila has said, we need majorly all those parliamentarians who are men in that task force, because we tend to shift all the blame to the women. And this is bias, because you can realize that you just said it without even, it came so naturally to you that you thought that it is either between the girl or the mother, but never to yourself as a man. So we need to recognize that there are these biases and stereotypes, and therefore we need men to unlearn, then relearn and come. Also to male champions, it is, women already know their problems. Coming to tell women their problems, this is what you're going through, we know our problems. The biggest role a male champion can play is within their circles, to hold their fellow men accountable when they are not doing the right thing. They are the ones to do that.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. We have run out of time for this particular one, and this means we are coming in for the second part of the show, because we have Gilbert. Thank you so much, Habiba, for being such a beacon of hope to people from your community and women at large. I think, and if you change the world around women, then it's also the men in there, because you're not just talking to us, you're talking to the men as well, and articulately at that. So thank you so much, Habiba.
Thank you so much.
Zulu, we will come with the roundup of how to finalize this.
Yes.
But thank you so much for tuning in today. This has been Elevate, and we will be here next week on Wednesday to continue on this conversation. Now, it changes. The seat that Habiba is sitting on will be a man. Sitting here.
I can't wait.
And sharing his story, and also I cannot wait for that. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next week, same time, same place. Adios.